another edition of the Roadrunners Coaches Corner, where we get you caught up on MSU Denver sports. Today we are simulcasting with the Met Sports Show, the flagship sports show on Met Radio. I'm Stephen Priest, and joining me is my usual co-host. To my right, Brandi Torr. To my left, Hector Venegas. And today we will have new head volleyball coach Jenny Glenn. We'll preview the season with her, as well as Nick Maas, coach of your track, field, and cross-country team. We'll talk about the upcoming season with his squad and what he expects. And then also Brandi Torr, senior setter, RMAC preseason setter of the year selection. We'll talk about her upcoming senior season and how she feels about that. All that and more today on the Roadrunners Coaches Corner. But let's get right into it as we preview the new volleyball season. The 2015 squad finished in a tie for second place in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference with a 14-4 record. The team advanced to the semifinals of the RMAC tournament and earned a spot in the NCAA tournament for the 16th straight season. The 2016 season will not have Debbie Hendricks leading the way after retiring after 16 years. This brings in former UNC Bear head coach, assistant coach Jenny Glenn to take the reins, and boy is the team stacked for the new coach as 12 players return this year. So now we'll bring in new head coach Jenny Glenn to the show. Thanks so much, Coach, for joining us. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Well, thank you for coming out and showing some support. Before we get right to it, you're the sixth coach in the program's history. Comes to MSU Denver from UNC Greeley, as I mentioned, where you spent 9 seasons, most recently as associate head coach. During your time, you reached 4 NCAA tournaments, 2009, 11, 12, and 14 with the Bears, and you also played collegiately at Truman State, where you were a 3-time All-Conference and All-Region selection. So congrats on that storied career.
Thank you.
But to kick things off, you spent 9 seasons with the Bears, as I mentioned. Tell me why you decided to come to MSU Denver. What led you down to the Roadrunners?
Yeah, well, I had a great time at UNC. I was there 9 seasons, and as the associate head coach, the next step is to be a head coach. And so I've been on the lookout in the last couple of years and was just waiting for the right fit. And being a Colorado native and familiar with the MSU Denver program, I knew it was a great opportunity and a great move in my career and a great program to take over that has a great tradition of success.
Now you take over for Coach Debbie Hendrick, who really elevated this program the 16 years she was here, accruing 353 wins, 16 straight NCAA tournament appearances. Have you spoken with her at all, and what kind of words of advice, if you have, has she given to you?
Yeah, I mean, I've known Debbie just being in the industry and being in Colorado, so I've had conversations with her in the past, and since I've taken the job, had a chance to kind of pick her brain on some things, and even just this last weekend at the alumni match, she came back, and so it was great to see her and just kind of get her insight from time to time, and you know, some of the tricks of the trade, I guess, specifically here at MSU Denver.
And Coach, you come into a team that has played together for lots of years and have great chemistry together. How has that affected the way you're going to coach this team or the way you go about this team?
Yeah, well, I think I was fortunate to get a great group of girls, and they do have experience in the program and together, and we have great leadership in our 4 seniors, and Michaela Smith has been here 5 years, so it's her 5th season. So just that tradition, I guess, and they're carrying that through, and there's obviously always new changes with a new coach, but keeping a lot of things the same because it's worked, you know, and so just that opportunity to continue to keep the ball rolling.
And then we are bringing Brandi Torr, she's over there on the show later, and she was named preseason setter of the year. What has she showed you in this offseason, heading into the season, that you're really excited about?
Brandi's great. She's a joy to coach, and so I just think fortunate, you know, to have such a veteran setter coming in that understands her hitters and how to make them successful. She's excellent at understanding the offense and seeing movement from an opposing middle blocker and getting our hitters one-on-one situations, and so I couldn't ask for a better situation with her at the helm.
Who's a player that we should be on the lookout for this season?
Well, I think you have, you know, your traditional. Michaela Smith is playing really well for us. She's in a new role, playing 6 rotations. That's the first time in her career here that she's done that, and seen a little bit more offense out of the back row from her, and so she's handling that really well. I think you still have Ryan Hordeman on the right, who puts up a big block and has a heavy arm. Vasadi as a senior in the middle, you know, she runs that one ball really fast, so that can create a lot of problems for defense. And then we have, you know, some upcoming kids that are still battling for positions, to be honest.
Now let's look at this week. You guys start on the road. How excited are you for the season to start? And tell us a little bit about your upcoming opponent.
Yeah, I'm super excited. It's like finally time to get going. The competitiveness, the competitive portion of our season's finally beginning. I think it'll be a great measure for us, as we head into both preseason tournaments. They're both nationally recognized competition, so we have a tough preseason ahead of us, and it'll be a good measuring stick. You never know how good you are until you play those first matches. So I think it'll be a great opportunity for us to get out there and play somebody different.
Now you come to this program. What is something that you kind of wanted to change about it? Obviously, we talked about what Debbie Hendricks was able to do. I mean, this has been a program that has had a lot of success as a program going through. But what did you want to change? How do you plan to elevate it and maybe take it to another level that it hasn't reached yet?
Yeah, I mean, I can't run Debbie's program, so to run it well, I have to do it my style. And there's a lot that she did great here, and we continue those things. But it's just putting my own personal stamp on it. And we've talked about our 6 championship behaviors and kind of the pillars of our program, and that's been our big emphasis on how we are doing well in all those areas. That's going to be the difference maker for us, not just how do I dig a ball, and left back, but my integrity and my work ethic and those kind of things that are kind of the difference makers between good teams and great teams. So I'm constantly challenging our girls and have a pretty high level of expectation that they're learning, but they're continuing to grow, and it's just been a fun process. They're sponges. So
now, when you look at your roster, we mentioned that you have a lot of players returning. Who can you rely on? Who are you looking to really lead the team this year and kind of carry through that coach on the court type of role for you?
Yeah, well, like I mentioned, not that seniority creates leadership, but we do have a lot of leadership in our senior class. So in Brandi, from the offensive standpoint, Michaela Smith playing 6 rotations and being pretty vocal player, Vasadi by her actions, and then Kirsten Anderson, who's fairly new, second year in the program, but is continuing to battle out for that libero spot, and so kind of a defensive leadership role as well.
Now, take me through, I'm going to have you do a fill-in-the-blank type of thing. For the Roadrunners to achieve their goals, they must do what?
Win. No.
Simply, yeah.
We have to do it the right way, and that's what I continue to stress with our girls, whether that's the way we train, what we do off the court, what we do on the court, in the classroom, all those areas. I think to reach our goals, we have to continue to do it the right way.
So in 2 weeks, September 9th and 10th, come out to the Auraria Events Center to watch your Roadrunners take on the Division II's best. Time for a break, but stay close. Cross country and track and field head coach Nick Maas will join us next. You're watching the Roadrunners Coaches Corner here at the Tivoli Tap House.
Dobinson stops on a dime, now to Cortez. The Cortez beating, count the bucket, and a foul.
If you can't get enough of MSU Denver sports, then you need to tune in to the Roadrunner Review. Get into the game with exclusive highlights, interviews, player stories, and of course the top plays that will have you jumping out of your seat. You can catch all the action on Altitude Sports, Comcast CET, and at RoadrunnersAthletics.com.
Hey, nice job! Great spot!
Brought to you by your #1 volume Nissan dealer, Tynan's Nissan. Come in today and choose from nearly 1,200 new Nissans. Get 0% for 72 months with no payments for 90 days. During the Bottom Line event, lease the new Altima for only $149 per month. Gives you both efficiency and performance. Looking for an SUV? Then choose the all-wheel drive Rogue at just $159 per month. Also available with optional third-row seats. Bottom Line savings at Tynan's Nissan in Aurora and Fort Collins.
We're back here live at the Tivoli Tap House on the campus of Auraria, MSU Denver's home. Make sure you keep up with all the MSU Denver latest and Roadrunners athletics at roadrunnersathletics.com. Let's get our run on as we have track and field and cross country head coach Nick Maas joining the show. The men's team had a stellar 2015 season where they finished 4th in the NCAA South Regional Championships, earning a spot in the NCAA Championships. The team would go on and finish in an impressive 20th place. The women finished in 9th place at the Conference Championships and 12th at the Regional Championships. In the preseason polls, both teams are picked to finish 8th in the RMAC this season, and they are led by head coach Nick Maas, who now joins the show. Coach, you're entering your 4th season with MSU Denver. Again, thanks for coming out tonight. How you doing?
Good.
Doing well. All right, great. Let's get right into it, Coach. On the men's side, you bring back a ton of experience, including seniors Jason Carey, Chris Davis, and junior Brandon Craig. Who are your leaders, and how has this men's team kind of looked so far throughout the offseason?
Yeah, definitely those guys that you talked about that you mentioned. Brandon Croggy, he's one of our top guys, had a great summer of training. Jason Carey is going to be redshirting this year, so we're going to miss him and his leadership, but he's still going to be out there in practices with the guys. And then Chris Davis has been a part of 2 of our national qualifying teams and 2 of our best teams that we've ever had. So those 3 guys definitely are going to be major contributors, along with Christian Culpepper, who's going into his junior year. So.
Now, you look at the women's team, it's kind of an opposite situation. A lot of new faces on the roster. Looks like 8 true freshmen, 2 redshirt freshmen. Does that mean a lot more coaching for you and your assistants to teach them kind of the Roadrunner way of things?
Yeah, this is the largest cross-country squad for women that we've ever had. I think we've got 18 or 19 on roster right now. Most of those are freshmen and sophomores. Molly Smith is one that's been around the longest. She's a junior this year for us. And then we've got a couple of girls that are junior college transfers. So we've got a few girls up there that have been around and been on some different teams and have some experience that can contribute and lead these young girls. But it definitely is a bit of a challenge when you have a lot of freshmen. Just teaching them the little things about campus and how to get around, and then the different nuances to training and racing at the collegiate level. So,
well, Coach, first of all, sorry we interrupted your meal, but the hamburger looks pretty good. But your season begins September 2nd at Fort Collins. What kind of competition are you expecting to see over there?
Yeah, it's a highly competitive race for it being so early in the season. We're going to have some of the best schools within Colorado. Out of Division II in the RMAC, we're going to have Western State, Colorado School of Mines. They're both going to be there, and they're both highly competitive schools, of course. And then Colorado State, Air Force, Wyoming. So it's going to be a tough match for us, but it'll give us a chance to sort of see where the summer training has gone and really where we're at this point in the season. It's a little shorter for us. For the men, it's about 3 kilometers shorter than they normally run, so almost 2 miles shorter. And for the ladies, it's just slightly shorter than their normal 6K distance. So it really is what I call it as a rust buster. It gives them a chance to break off some of that rust that they haven't raced for 3 or 4 months, and some of them even longer than that. So. And
staying on the same topic, Coach, what are your expectations for the first meet?
Right, really, the first meet is honestly just to see where we are. I'm hoping that the freshmen get their feet wet a little bit and get some experience at this collegiate level, just to see how intense it can be and what they need to do from here.
Now, is CU considered a D1 school for track and field? And if so, is there much of a drop-off in talent between D1 and D2?
Yeah, so it's a tough question to answer. But so within the mountain region, and especially in Colorado, we have some of the best schools in the country in Division I in cross-country and track and field. So the University of Colorado were the national runners-up in men's last year, and I think their women were the national champions. So they're in Division I, they're the cream of the crop, and then CSU, both men and women qualified for the nationals in years past, and so it's pretty competitive. So there can be a bit of a drop-off. The top-level schools in Division II can contend. Within that Division I level, but yeah, there's a bit of a difference there.
Now, is there a runner or maybe multiple runners on either roster that look poised for a big year that we should know about?
Absolutely. Brandon Croggy had a tremendous summer this year. He's very, very fit. He'd had some injuries in the past, and now this is the first time where he's had some great training going forward. I expect him to shoot for an All-American status in cross country this year, be one of the best runners we've probably ever had. That's how good he looks right now. Christian Culpepper also looks really good. I expect him to do some great things. And then a couple of newcomer guys that redshirted last year, Sam Berg and Kyle Jones. Those guys should do pretty well as well. On the women's side, we've got Rachel Shimabukuru. She was with us last year. She transferred in midway through the year. We expect her to be shooting for All-American spot as well. And then Erica Ruiz is another junior college transfer that she could be one of the top 20 runners in the nation by the time we hit November in the national championship. So those are some of the main ones that have really looked great so far.
Now, Coach, for those who aren't very familiar with track and field and cross country as a whole, kind of break this down for us, the differences. Obviously, track and field, it's relegated to the track and the field, obviously, but cross country, it's more of a long distance type of thing. Is there any other differences or maybe similarities that you could tell the audience?
Yeah, so on the track, it's really about time. It's 400 meters. It's pretty, everybody knows what a time is generally, especially after just the Olympics got done and they kind of have a frame of reference. With cross country, it's more about competitiveness. You're running through mud and rain and, over grass and rocks and everything else and hills. So it really kind of comes down to toughness of a runner. To me, I always tell my athletes it's sort of the essence of sport. Running is one of the first initial, simple things that we did as Homo sapiens to get ourselves out there and mobile. So it really, for us, I try to remind our kids of that, and that it is the original sort of sport that we all kind of got involved with, and to go back to that primal sense of things.
Now, what's the hardest thing as a coach of this field? What's the hardest thing that you deal with day in, day out to try and teach your runners and stuff like that?
Right. So with this year, with all the freshmen that we have, especially on the women's side, it's teaching them about the little things they need to do to sort of live the life of a champion. We talk about a lot, getting proper rest, hydration, nutrition, stretching out, and taking care of all of those things to be at your very best and scheduling that out very, very well. So being organized for them is just trying to teach them all those nuances of the sport.
Now, the Olympics just wrapped up not too long ago. Talk to me about what you saw, maybe things you liked, and some of the events you kept your eyes on.
Yeah, I mean, the Olympics, it's my favorite, time every 4 years to get into the Olympics, and it's so fun to watch. And it's fun because the Americans this year had the most medals in track and field that they've ever had. And so for the first time ever in the 1,500 meters, we had a gold medalist, or since 1908, I think was the last time we had a gold medalist in the 1,500 meters. So that's a big, exciting time for the U.S. That, and then of course Usain Bolt is just amazing on the track. I mean, he's just so much fun to watch, and his energy, and So those are some of the stuff that I watched. But of course, I'm a nerd of the sport, so I watch it all. I enjoy all of it, all of the Olympics, swimming and volleyball and all that. It's a lot of fun. So.
Well, Coach, thanks so much for taking out the time to join us here on the Roadrunners Coaches Corner. We're excited for the upcoming season. We can't wait to see what you guys do this year.
Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, don't you go anywhere, as up next on the Roadrunners Coaches Corner, we will have one of the top setters in the RMAC Conference, Brandi Torr, senior of your Metro State Lady Roadrunners. You don't want to miss that. We'll get her take on the upcoming season and what she expects for her senior year.
And the celebration is on for Mike Dunlap.
The Skyhawks celebrate a second national title in program history.
And the winner of the 2006 Harlan Hill Trophy as Division II College Football Player of the Year is Danny Woodhead from Chadron State. ASU! ASU! ASU!
What do we got?
Hi, I'm Congresswoman Diana DeGette. Every day, I see the impact that MSU Denver has on our region, and education within reach can truly transform a life. Congratulations on 50 years of commitment to diversity and inclusion, and may you have many, many more.
Are
you a college student that needs a place to live? Are you still living with your parents and want your own space? The Regency Student Housing is perfect for you. The community offers many amenities such as a fitness center, 2 basketball courts, big screen amphitheater, all-you-can-eat dining hall, bowling alley, arcade, free parking, and a shuttle to and from the Auraria campus. For more information, please call 303-477-1950 or visit our website at regencystudenthousing.com.
I'm Lexi Maas, senior defender for the Roadrunners women's soccer team.
These teams looking for offense, and there's Mar, the all-conference defender.
And you're watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
I'm Anthony Grant, Director of Athletics at MSU Denver.
It's because of your generosity and support that our athletic programs have been able to achieve sustained success and continue to be one of the top athletic departments in the nation.
And you're watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
So glad you're here with us on the Roadrunners Coaches Corner. We are now joined by senior setter for your Metro State ladies volleyball team, Brandi Torr, the newly selected RMAC preseason setter of the year. First and foremost, congratulations with that.
Oh, thank you.
Of course. How are you doing tonight? Thanks for taking out the time to join us on this Monday night. Everything going well? First week of school out the way?
Of course, yeah, full week of school out of the way. Just got done with practice.
Right. Probably tired?
Oh, no way. I've got some energy to burn.
Okay, good. Well, before we get right to it, let's get to your accolades. 2-time first team All-RMAC selection, 2-time RMAC Setter of the Week selection, obviously the RMAC preseason Setter of the Year. But this one really just boggles my mind. Over 3,000 assists in your career, 3,212 to be exact. I mean, that's just amazing. How did you find out, though, about the RMAC preseason Setter of the Year, and what does that mean to you as a player?
Well, it definitely means a lot to me, but I just have to give it to my teammates. You know, I think of all those awards as team awards because I couldn't do it without them. And if I could give all those awards to my hitters, they definitely deserve that because they're the one hitting my sets. And I just really appreciate how hard my team works as well.
Now, I mentioned that you're going into your senior year, having played your entire career here at MSU. Has it kind of flown by fast for you?
Oh, yeah, it definitely does. But when I look back and see everything that's happened since then, it seems like a really long time, but now that I'm here, I really can't believe it, and I'm just really excited to play my last season of volleyball.
Now, obviously, we had your coach on to start the show. We talked to her about all the talent you guys are going to bring back from last season. Michaela Smith on one side, Herdeman, Fiatoa in the middle for you guys. Talk about all those weapons that you have and just how easy they make the game for you.
Well, it's always nice having a bunch of returners. You know, we lost a couple good seniors last year. Han and Summer and Abby were tough, players to lose, but I think everybody's going to step up to the plate this year, and we're ready to be challenged. And there's a lot of leadership roles, being taken, and I think we're going to do really well with all those girls.
And then last year you guys went on a 10-game winning streak. What allowed you to do that, and how do you plan on carrying that to this season?
Well, I remember last year we had a tough preseason, but we got back in the gym that day after preseason, and we told ourselves that this is not how our whole season is going to go, and we stepped in the gym and didn't let that happen. So I'm sure that had something to do with it. And
then you had Coach Hendricks as your coach for the first 3 years of your career.
Yeah.
Now we have Coach Glenn in here. How has the transition been like for you and the team as a whole?
Well, I'm definitely appreciative that I had Coach Hendricks for 3 years. She was a great coach. I loved her. But it's always an opportunity for growth when you have a new coach, and I'm just really thankful that I have a new coach my senior year to be pushed in new ways and rise to challenges. So the transition, it's been good, actually. It's been challenging, but it's been opportunity for growth.
Now, you start this week on the road in Portland. How are you guys feeling? Are you guys ready to go?
Oh, we have a couple days left to practice yet, so we're not going to fly past those practices. We have to get stuff done this week, and after this week, we'll be ready for it.
Now, you've been part of the Colorado Premier Challenge, where big-time Division II powerhouses come to your gym. What's it like to play a NCAA playoff field so early in the season? Does it help you kind of prepare for the rest of the season?
Oh, of course. Having playing really tough teams in preseason is always a good thing. It challenges you. And the Premier is an awesome tournament to be a part of. I'm so happy that we host it and play in it every year. I'm really thankful that Metro gets to do that. You get to rise to new challenges, and to be a part of that is just really awesome in Division II volleyball.
Now, being that it's your senior year, is there anything as you come into this season that you're looking to soak in more than you would have maybe in the prior years?
You know what? That's a hard question to answer, because you would like to think that you take every year, and any year could be your last. But knowing that this year is my last, I really do want to soak it in, and I want it to be my best year, but I'm just going to give it all I have, and that's all I can do.
Now, you're a major in HPS, right? Human Performance Sport, is that still correct? What is the plan with that after you graduate, or is volleyball in the cards for you potentially?
Well, volleyball isn't too much in the cards. I'm more looking at my career, but I'm majoring in exercise science, so what's funny, I'm not really going to do anything with the exercise science. I'm actually going to go to school for acupuncture.
Oh, wow.
So hopefully the anatomy and physiology, all of that will help me out, but we'll see where I go with that.
Well, Brandi, thanks so much for hanging out with us here on the Roadrunners Coaches Corner. We will look forward to the upcoming season, and we can't wait to see what you guys do this year.
Thank you.
All right, well, remember, you can watch the volleyball team all season long at Stretch Internet. So here's what's coming up for your Roadrunners this week. The 2016 season officially kicks off on Thursday when the women's soccer team hosts big regional rival in West Texas A&M at 7 p.m. at the Regency Athletic Complex. They'll also take on Dallas Baptist on Saturday at noon at the Rack. The men's soccer team begins their 2016 campaign on Friday at home against St. Edwards at 6 p.m. They then finish off the weekend versus Dixie State on Sunday at 11 a.m. at the Regency Athletic Complex. If you can't make it out to every event this weekend, you can watch all the games live, as the Metro State Broadcast Network will be there to live stream the games. Go to roadrunnersathletics.com and click on the live video tab to tune in at Stretch Internet. The cross-country season also gets underway, as we heard Coach Maas talk about his crew going down to Fort Collins to take some Division I teams at Colorado State University on Friday. And as Coach Glenn talked about, the volleyball team heads to Portland, Oregon to take on 4 opponents in 2 days, this Friday and this Saturday. Again, check out roadrunnersathletics.com for times and details if there will be a live video stream for the volleyball squad. Now, we will not have a show next Monday because of Labor Day, but we will be back on the air September 12th, where we'll have a chat with the Director of Athletics, Anthony Grant, as he enters his second season with MSU Denver. We'll also have Coach Maas back on to tell us how their meet at CSU went, and we're hoping to have a cross-country athlete to get us into the mind of a Division II runner. That'll do it for this week's show. For Coach Glenn, Coach Maas, Brandi Torr, Hector Venegas, Brandon Stowell, I'm Stephen Priest. Thanks for taking out the time to join us on the Roadrunners Coaches Corner. We'll see you next time.